Hello and welcome to this demonstration of MiVoice. In this demonstration, I'm going to be showing you all the elements of MiVoice, what it can do, and hopefully give you an idea about how you might use it in your environment. Once you've purchased MiVoice, you'll be able an opportunity to create your own account. You add your name, your email address, the organization, the school or college, and obviously entering the password to keep it nice and safe. Once you have done that, you'll be able to log in to your account just simply by entering your details and logging in. Very simple. And when you have logged in, you'll end up with the dashboard, something that looks a bit similar to this. Obviously, your clients will have nothing there at all yet. So here is the dashboard. And as you can see, all the details that you've filled in just a minute ago are going to be showing here. And it's really important to have these details because that's what's going to be showing on any future report. You can edit your details at any point just by pressing this. The first thing you would do when you first start is by adding clients. Adding clients is really, really simple. You just go along to the client section just over here on the right, and you'll see there's a little plus symbol. Once you hover over it, yep, just click on and it's start add a new client. Here gives the opportunity to add the client's name, and our client is going to be called Ben Smith. Ben goes to MiVoice School. Okay. Once you've done that, here's an opportunity. Here's space for adding any notes about the client you want to add. I often copy and paste information about the student or client from a pen profile or any information that might be relevant for somebody who doesn't know this student, and if they're reading a report, it will give them some information about that young person. Here we're just going to add something and we can save it, and it's been saved successfully, and you can see that Ben has been added to our list of clients just like that. Once you've added a client, next thing to do is to start adding some questions that you might want to ask your client. Now, when you do get your first login, we have preset some questions already. And how you find the questions is you can go along the bottom here and you find the question mark just here. And there'll be some preset questions. I'll quickly find them here. Template questions, which are going to be already loaded into every login. These questions are things like, would you like to have a job? Who is important to you? What type of work would you like to do? What do you like to do at school? What your leisure and social pastimes are? But obviously the beauty of MiVoice is you can add very, very specific questions to suit your school or college or whatever you're using this program for. So adding a question is really, really simple. So what I'm going to do is go through how you add questions to the program. So you can go along to the top here, top right, you can add a new question. When you add a new question, it comes up with this page here. And the first thing to do is actually write the question. So I'm going to have one which says, I like to spend my money on, and as this is a multiple choice question, we're going to add some answers which could be right. So this isn't a yes or no, which we'll come back to a yes or no question in a bit, but this is a multiple choice question. So we click on here, multiple answers, and it comes up with this question, is this bar here. And if you click onto this bar here that says add an answer, you get the opportunity to download an image quickly, which I'll put here quickly. Here. And here is an image that I made just using an AI generator, to be honest with you. So, and the answer will be I'm food. Okay, so I'm going to quickly add that answer. That's just one answer ready. Let's add a couple of other answers very quickly, just to show you how you do it. Here we go. Here's another one. So you might want to buy clothes. Again, this is just an example to show you how easy it is to add questions. Now, I find it much easier to do on using an iPad or a tablet, because you can simply create the images, save them, and you don't have to go into a folder. You just save them right in. But here we are. And so you add the photo, and then down the bottom here, you add the title of the answer. That is what will be used in the report. Again, at any point you can add more answers to this, but this is just really a demonstration to show you how quick it is to add questions to your program. Once you're adding a question, it will come up with this asking you if it's a client-specific question. Now, sometimes you might add photos or questions that relate to a specific client, and you obviously don't want that showing up on anybody else's. So if you do have this as a client-specific question, all you do is press yes, and then it gives you a drop-down of all of your clients that you can pick from, and you just select one, and that will only be a client-specific question. But this isn't a client-specific question, so I'm going to write no. And it's there it is, it's saved. I like to spend my money on, it's just here. Let's add another question. Let's do it a yes or no question this time. So let's add the question, just the same before. This time the question is, do you like to get up early? So this is a yes or no question. So we can tap on what type of question it is. It's a yes or no. Okay, so as it's yes or no, we're not giving multiple choice answers, but this time if we click just here, it gives you the opportunity to add a photo which represents the question. So there we go. And here's a picture that represents that question. So when that question comes up, it'll have this picture of somebody waking up nice and early. Here we go. Is it a client-specific question? No, we'll use it for multiple clients. We can just tap onto no. And there you go. And now it's saved to all of the questions. Then once we've done that, we can head back to the dashboard and start building careers guidance interview for Ben. Okay, now we've added some questions and we've got our preset questions. We're going to build an interview for our client. So we can click on Ben. And this is his little profile. As I said earlier, we've added his information. He's at the MiVoice school here, and Ben is a rock star. At any point, you can delete a client, just like this. You can click up there, or you can edit their details. But of course, we've got no interviews booked here for him. So we're going to click onto this little bit plus sign on the right here, on interviews, and you can create an interview. So let's give this a title, and the title will just be test. So we save that, but you could add the date of the interview, or if you're having a very specific interview, you could be calling it anything you like. You could be calling it Ben's work experience interview or Ben's preferences interview, anything which suits your needs best. You have the opportunity to add tags here, and the reason why we've got tags is that when it comes to making a report, you can make a report on several different things, or you can include all the interviews that have been included for this client. Here we can add a tag. We're going to call it a careers and transitions interview. So now it's tagged with that. When we come to write a report, we can make sure we just want to get the careers and transitions. Let's start adding some questions. So really, really easy to add questions. You do have the option to add new questions as you go. So if you are, while you're creating interview, you think of a new question, you can just create it on the fly by clicking onto this button here. But we have lots of preset ones that we're going to add for Ben. Let's go down to our templates, because I think the template ones are really good to show you, because this is what we've got. So let's see, nice one to start with when we're creating interviews. How are you feeling today? So we click onto that. It's just here. How are you feeling today? And as we press add, there it is. This is going to be the first question, is how are you feeling today? Then let's go back onto it again. Let's have some more. How do you like to travel? That's a really, really good one. It's really important for lots of our students, and it's there. I'm going to go through really quickly and add a few of our other preset questions. Now, as you can see, I have lots of questions there that I haven't added. But once you've added all the questions you want, and again, you can come back and edit these at any time, you just press save. And that creates the interview. Now we've created an interview. It's showing up in Ben Smith's profile as test interview. Now we've created it. We can edit it at any point by clicking on to edit there. We can add more questions, take more questions away at any point. You can run the interview, which we're going to do in a minute. This little button here is to duplicate the interview, which I'm going to show you a little bit later on. Okay, so now we have created an interview. It's time we run the interview with Ben. Now you can run this interview in with a range of different technology. I have lots of success with my students working from iPads, but I also have used the smart boards as well, because I've got some students who work really, really well on the smart boards. And I have also conducted interviews using eye gazes as well. So when you're ready to conduct an interview, you hover over this bit here and you conduct an interview, and the first question will come up. And I'll be saying to Ben, you know, how are you feeling today? And we can go through the answers, talk about each answer. And then once he is happy to have an answer, he can hover over one or click onto or just touch the iPad, and then you'll see it comes with a purple background. Now, as it is a multiple choice question, you can click on as many as you like here. So you could be feeling a range of emotions today. Okay. We're moving on to how do you like to travel? You know, because this can be a massive barrier for lots of our students about how they're going to get to places and what they're going to do. So we can go through each one again, discuss which one is and how they feel about them, and they can click on and touch them as they want to. As you'll see that I've also added something else, because there's always an opportunity at the end to add different answers that our students might have come up with. If you run the interview more than once, the questions will always be in the same answer, but the answers will be in different places. So if you have got an eye gaze student, they're not always going to be typed, you know, if they're always clicking up top right, you know, that's not a consistent answer. So these answers are always in different places. So the student has to go through and actually add what they think they are. I think I've got a good imagination. I think I'm good at swimming. Not very good at video games or football, if I'm honest with you. I'm good at art and would go through that. And hopefully I can good at making people happy. We can go and you can add as many different answers. These are just AI generated widget symbols that I've made, but you can take off if these aren't suitable for you. You can just add your own and take your own on. But these are the template questions, but you could add any you like at all. Now, if a student specifically needs it, you could go into this question and edit and add photos of the person's parents or sisters, brothers, if that's more appropriate for them. I like spending my money on. Again, this was a question that we added just a few moments ago. I like buying food and going to the cinema. But again, this was just an example. So you'd definitely broaden that question out. Each question could be as broad or as big as you like. And finish off, are you happy for me to share this information with people who can help you move on? Okay, so we can have answer yes or no. It's really good to have that autonomy. And when we press finish, the interview will come to an end. Once it's collaborated all the answers, it'll give the opportunity to add something about the interview, any comments about the interview. Maybe the student or client gave you a different answer that wasn't available, so you could add that here. You could say on question 4, they said they'd like to do at school something which we didn't have. Or you could say that the student was unwell today, wasn't feeling very well, wasn't very chatty, or had not had a good day so far, so struggled with the interview. You could add anything which is relevant to it, and it will show on the final report. So now we have run an interview with Ben. We can now click back onto his profile right here. And because we have run an interview, you'll see there's a little icon on the right here which has appeared, because we now have information to run a report. So by clicking the button run a report, it brings up this screen here, which gives the opportunity to add any final comments. Here you might want to say that I've conducted 10 interviews with Ben. His consistent answering of certain questions shows that he does have cognitive ability to make these decisions. That's why the beauty of doing it more and more. It gives you the opportunity to only gather information or data from interviews you've created between 2 dates, because sometimes you might have a student who's been using this for years and you actually only want to show the last 6 months or the last year. You can do to and from, dates from and to, and also you can also add your tags, search just on the tags here as well. So let's just generate a report. We'll take you back onto this screen, and it works until one is generated. It's just here, and obviously we can't see it at the moment, so we're going to download it. And you should be now able to see the report. Again, here we are. Here's the information. This is Ben Smith, the date of the report, which school, and who the interviewer was. And as you can see, these are all the questions that we asked and how many times they were answered. So that could be printed, downloaded at any point, and showed the answers to anybody who might be needed, like social workers, preparing for adulthood advisors, SEND careers advisors can help. I'm going to quickly click onto another client here, because that was quite a basic one. And here is Bruce Wayne Manor School, conducted by Peter Norfolk. And here is, it gives you a much bigger. So these questions: do you like to go swimming? It was asked 8 times, and he answered yes 8 times. Where do you like to eat out? This was another question I sometimes use. Again, it shows you how many times the question's been asked and how many times the consistency they've been answered. So again, we're looking for the consistency of how many times somebody's answered a question. Since I've been using MiVoice, I've found lots of different ways that I can use it within my school. And I wanted to show you some of the ways I've made my workload easier and how I've made using MiVoice easier as well. As you've probably noticed, as I've been doing this demonstration, we have had a client list here, and one of them says templates. And what I learned to do that made life a lot easier for me was create templates, like a very broad, which could be used from lots and lots of different types of students, lots of different students. And so I can just create the templates and I can duplicate them for other students. And I'll show you how I do that. So if I click onto templates, you'll see it's just like a student profile, but I've created templates within this profile for different needs, as you can see. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to duplicate the careers and transitions year 14 interview. And how you do that is you just hover over this little plus sign here and you press duplicate. It asks which client you want to duplicate it for. So let's go to our test one that we've used, Ben Smith. Click onto Ben and duplicate it. If we then go back to the dashboard again, you'll see that we can click onto Ben and there it is. It's been duplicated in his interviews. So we've got the test interview that we created ourselves and the duplicate one. Here we got the opportunity to go in and we can edit this template interview. We just click onto there. We can edit it. We can take questions out. We can add client specific questions to it. It just saves a lot of time of just creating interviews over and over and over again. We can take some out. We can add new ones really, really simply, and they can add, and then we can just save it. And that is how you can edit to template interviews. Go back. But also, as you may have seen, when I showed you my templates, I realized there were other things I could use MiVoice for within my school, things that I would normally struggle with. As you know, every student within EHCP has a review every year, and they should contribute to that EHCP. So I've created an interview here, which is an EHCP all about me interview, so we can gather some information and ask some questions about what's to be relevant to that student moving forward in their education while they've got the EHCP. So I've created that one, which is really, really good. I've started using that across the school really, really to lots of success. Also here, I've got a post-experience feedback. So when our students do either provider experience or worker experience, I can use MiVoice to gather information from them about how that experience went, if they liked it, if they didn't like it. Again, if this is just a template, I usually duplicate it over to the client or the student, and from there I edit it to make it specific to their work experience or their provider experience. So there are other uses you can do, and again, making these templates is really, really quick, really, really easy, and it saves time. So once you've created one, literally every client you put on, every student you put on, you can just duplicate them over and edit them suitable for them. Also, sometimes I don't even need to edit them. It's a really good starting block. And what I'll do is I'll conduct an interview from a template, and then from there, depending on the answers, I can then change those interviews and make them more specific for the student. The last thing I just want to show you really, really quickly is how we can delete students and clients, because the basic package you get from MiVoice, you have a limit of 30 clients or 30 students. You can pay a little bit extra for more, but once you've finished with a student's left or you no longer need them, you can really, really easily, quickly delete a student. And by deleting that student, all the reports, all the student-specific questions have been deleted as well. So they're no longer there as well. So hopefully that makes it a little bit easier for you. And the very, very last thing I want to show you about MiVoice is this is a program that's growing. So what we've done here is, if you see just down here, there's a little lightning bolt. By clicking the little lightning bolt, this gives you the opportunity, the user, to report any issues you're having, any ideas or any wishes you'd like MiVoice to be able to do. It also gives you the opportunity to upload any screenshots, so you can show us any problems you're having or anything you'd like it to do in the future, which is really, really great. And we really want that feedback so we can make MiVoice better and better all the time. Okay, that is pretty much everything from me today. I hope you've enjoyed this demonstration. Please go back and look at it again, and please feel free to email us any questions you've got or any sort of things you need for clarification about how things are done, or any questions you have about the program. I've quickly brought you to this page here. This is the MiVoice website where you can purchase MiVoice. Here gives you a little bit of information about MiVoice. If you just click on to explore products when you're ready to purchase MiVoice, here is the different options you've got. So currently the different options we've got is for one login, where it gives you the opportunity to have 30 clients to that one login. Again, you don't have to keep them forever. You can delete them and add new clients. So if that works for you, it's a starting cost of $49.99 for the year. Or we do have an option for the larger organizations that would benefit from having more logins, which can have up to 5 logins for $149.99. I have recently had a customer ask me if we could do up to 10. Of course we can. That's absolutely fine. So if you do want to have more than 5 logins, please contact us and we can arrange that as well. That's not a problem whatsoever. Thank you ever so much for listening to us today. Again, if you have any questions, anything you want to run past us, anything you'd like to know, please just drop us an email and we'd really like to hear from you. Okay. Thank you again. Take care.